The delightful world of PR wars, where flashy headlines and grandiose claims attempt to mask the glaring lack of actual strength. Imagine a featherweight boxer boasting about their knockout power. It's amusing until they step into the ring. This is the essence of PR wars that aren't backed by substance. When a nation touts its invincible new weapon only for it to malfunction spectacularly, it doesn't inspire fear, it invites laughter. The gap between proclaimed prowess and real capability becomes a comedic chasm. Think of it as the difference between a cat's menacing hiss and the reality of its tiny claws.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
Overhyped PR stunts can backfire gloriously, turning intended intimidation into international mockery. Enemies aren't cowering, they're cracking up. Thus, without the muscle to back the marketing, a PR war isn't a strategy. It's a sitcom, where the punchline is the ineptitude hidden behind the bravado. The same is happening in Ukraine. Anyone who has spent more than 5 minutes studying the NATO-orchestrated Ukrainian conflict knows that the neo-Nazi junta needs constant morale boosts for its largely conscripted forces. Whenever things go south on the front lines, out comes the propaganda machine with stories of miraculous victories. Take, for instance, the hilariously overhyped Patriot SAM systems that supposedly shot down half the Russian aerospace forces, including bombers that were nowhere near their range. Or even more comically overpraised HIMARS, touted as the conflict's ultimate wonder weapon, which has allegedly been decimating the Russian military. In reality, the Kiev regime's true achievements with these weapons mostly involve harming civilians, including those in areas it claims to protect. Of course, this sort of behavior is nothing new for the neo-Nazi junta. They have been at it for over a decade, but apparently that's not sensational enough. The more dire the situation on the front lines, the grander the PR stunts need to be. The latest, the regime now claims to have taken out a Russian Sukhoi 57 next-generation fighter jet. According to Ukrainian military intelligence GUR, this supposed attack happened on June 8th, targeting the aircraft at the Akutbinsk airbase in southern Russia's Astrakhan region, over 700 kilometers from the front lines. Whether this was the work of Ukrainian-launched drones or sabotage groups within Russia remains as clear as maybe mud. In fact, it's unclear that this attack even occurred or not. The GUR flaunted what they allege are satellite images showing some runway damage where the Sukhoi 57 was parked. However, the images are so low in resolution that discerning any real damage is like finding a needle in a haystack. The timing of these satellite photos is suspiciously perfect. One might wonder how convenient it is for a satellite to capture the airbase at such an opportune moment. And if the jet was indeed damaged, why didn't the Russians move it to prevent further harm? The whole story is riddled with holes, making it about as watertight as a colander. While some Russian sources acknowledge an attack, the extent of the damage to the Sukhoi 57 remains dubious. Even if the aircraft was damaged, it's uncertain whether it's still airworthy or if other jets' operations at the base are affected. The grainy footage doesn't reveal significant damage to the Sukhoi 57, despite claims of shrapnel possibly damaging it. Yet, the neo-Nazi junta and mainstream propaganda are thrilled by the narrative of a so-called destroyed Russian stealth jet, although some remain cautious due to the numerous inconsistencies. True to the form, the Kiev regime now claims a second Sukhoi 57 was also destroyed. This follows their standard PR tactic: use flimsy evidence to amplify the supposed success of non-existent victories. Even if the claim were true, it won't alter the strategic dynamics of the conflict. Yes, losing a Sukhoi 57 would be a blow for Russia, as they operate only about 24 of these jets, but beyond a propaganda win, this doesn't improve the neo-Nazi junta's situation. The Sukhoi 57 is crucial for covert airstrikes on heavily defended targets in Ukraine, including areas with foreign mercenaries and NATO personnel. However, Russia has other capable platforms like the MiG-31K strike fighters armed with 9A7660 Kinjal hypersonic missiles, which can strike faster and from greater distances. Unlike the US and NATO, Moscow doesn't overly prioritize stealth. The Sukhoi 57 is a coveted target for the political West and its Kiev regime puppets. Since the special military operation began, the jet has been used extensively in highly contested airspace, conducting suppression of enemy air defenses and air-to-air combat missions against advanced Soviet-era fighter jets. While Russia's fleet of Sukhoi 57s is small compared to its US/NATO and Chinese counterparts, its extensive combat use makes it the most battle-tested next-generation aircraft, fueling envy among Moscow's adversaries. Especially considering that Sukhoi 57 has faced more significant risks than any other jet in its class, mainly when compared to NATO equivalents, which typically engage only helpless opponents. Thus, this PR victory serves a dual purpose. It aims to discredit the Russian military while boosting the morale of the neo-Nazi junta's forces, whose spirits are plummeting as their lines collapse. Even if the Kiev regime's claims are true, a highly questionable premise, the incident does not diminish the Sukhoi 57's capabilities. If anything, it validates them, showing that Russia's foes have little chance against its top-tier jet when it's in the air.